Okay, and finally we are going to go to layout here, right? Layout is how it all comes together, right? So if we look at this layout here for this photo here, right? The first thing you probably notice is the striking image of what's going on. You see this woman's face, we see like some sort of trauma is happening. We have this, it's like a mirror or something that's going on with cracked, and then behind it we have this skull, right? This feeling of death, dread, right? Lots of negative space. First thing you probably realize, you see, right? The second thing you probably see is the title, because it has this crazy looking font and it really sticks out. It's nice and big, the Final Destination, right? We're assuming this is the title because of how it looks. It has its own thing. This is the whole image, right? Third thing you probably see, even though it might be the second, might even be August, because it's in red. Really pops out. Red, danger, warning, red, right? Only bit of color that's on here. So that really pops out a lot. And then finally, last thing you probably see, because it's with white, it's similar to everything else here, right? It's rest in pieces. And of course this, it's kind of a joke. It's something that horror films do, where they make little puns, right? And they make a little comedy thing with really morbid pieces, right? Horror films, the macabre, is really this whole way of kind of laughing at the fears that we have as humans of death, right? And then maybe, even if you see it at all, you have this little New Light and Cinema thing down at the bottom, right? That's very, very hard to see because it is literally the same color as the smoke that's around it. Right? Lots of negative space, a lot going on in the poster. All this stuff is put together where we have a couple different images. We have some effects with this broken glass. We have this smoke going on this layer. And then, of course, we have the fonts and then the use of color. So it all comes together, and it's all put together quite nicely in this poster. And that's what we're talking about, layout, how it all comes together. So the design is intended to help clarify and support the content. This is a horror film. The final destination is probably what? Death? I think that pretty much states it right there. So it's important to only include layout elements and copy that support the message, right? We have the whole message here. Final destination, rest in pieces. It's coming in August, right? Brought to you by New Line Cinema, right? This is all, there's a little website down here too, right? This is all supporting this film, right? If we had something in here, it's like, I don't know, vote for candidate X or something like that, that would not support this message at all. Okay, so draw the reader's attention to the important elements. We just went through how you probably saw this poster, right? Real fast. So this is how we point towards the important elements, right? Final destination, this logo looking, deal with size. It's this logo, unique thing, right? That's how it's going to get noticed. Right? And that's how you draw the reader's attention. You have this power when it comes to design. Just size alone is a way you can make it happen, right? Contrast is another way. We have all this darkness with this lightness, right? Color. All of a sudden we have this red color that's going to stick out, right? So this is how you draw the attention of the reader, okay? It's important to be consistent like we have here, right? We've talked about all along. Fonts consistent, August, rest in peace. Same font. In fact, they're all serif fonts here that we're looking at. Final Destination. It's a little different. That's because it's a logo, but still it's the serif thing going on, right? Where we have, in fact, it looks like the same font as August and Rest in Peace, even though the Final Destination is a little bit different because we have this whole kind of lens flare thing going on and brightness and all kinds of stuff going on for that logo feeling, right? So we're treating all things the same. The photo, imagine if the picture of this woman was in color and then we had this black and white skull going on with this grayscale. It probably wouldn't look very good, right? Or let's say this skull was coming in and it was kind of this warm orange as opposed to the blue. It doesn't look right. So we're being very consistent here, okay? Which is what we want. Remember that liking it is not a reason to include it in your design. You must have some sort of logic. Helps to clarify something, right? It's the meaning should drive the design, not vice versa, right? So the meaning, this is about death and destruction and stuff like that, right? The Final Destination, they're talking about death, right? And here we go with this death imagery right here. So keep it simple, right? Lots of negative space here, right? Lots of negative space. It's better to start out with less and add than start out with a ton of ideas, right? think about making it as simply as possible to make your message. This is by far the best way to design. Things can get too busy and cluttered very, very quickly. Okay? It's also important to remember that design is evolutionary. You may start out with all kinds of ideas, and then you'll whittle your way down to less and less and less and less and less, right? Or you may be adding to more and more and more, right? Augmenting things, changing things, playing with color, playing with the fonts, maybe even playing with copy, right? What type of text are you putting in, and what is the message saying? Oftentimes, when you design for someone, you usually go with like 3, 4, 5 different ideas, right? And then when you go and meet with the people you're designing for, they may be like, I really like idea number 4, and I like idea number 6. But there's elements of idea number 3 that I would like to see, and then it's your job as a designer to go back and work in those elements of 3 into 4 and 6, and you try and whittle it down to what you're going for. This is very, very common. What's uncommon is when someone hires you to do a design and then you just do one and that's it. Usually there's many, many steps. So not only are you stepping through what you think is correct, then you have to go and work through with other people's ideas who hired you. So it's something to think about. Okay?